Hey folks, welcome to PlayBranson, the show where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. I'm your host, Chris Meyer, and today's episode is brought to you by iBranson.com. That's the place where you can plan your entire Branson vacation, lodging, shows, attractions. So be sure to go check out iBranson.com. Our guest today is Brian Duvall. Brian is a drummer in Branson who plays at the On Fire Jerry Lee Experience and MJ The Illusion. It's been a very long time since he's been on the show, so I'm looking forward to having him back on the show today. Now, are you looking for who's playing in Branson tonight? Well, you can now go to thevacationchannel.com and see Branson's show and attraction schedules. Click on the schedule button in the top right corner. Now, here's the deal. It is not too late to get here for Ozark Mountain Christmas. It started and it goes through the first part of January, and Silver Dollar City just recently announced they will be staying even open later this year. What a great time to be in Branson. Lights, Christmas shows, shopping. Now, if you've never been to Branson at the Christmas time, you've got to come. You know, we often provide tips on how to make your Branson vacation better. So have you guys seen the Flavor of Branson magazine? Now, if you're in town and you want to know more about Branson's restaurants, this is the most complete guide for dining. And guess what? It's free. It's located all over town in racks, and it will help save you money. Stretch those vacation dollars even further. There are about 20 coupons in the back. It lists all the restaurants and categories. And so check this out. Be sure to check it out in the lobby of your hotel. Well, we'll be right back in just a minute with our guest. Hang tight.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to PlayBranson, and for the second time, I have Brian Duvall on the show, and it's been 6 years since you've been on the show, so welcome back.
That's way too long. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but you know, we always say we're always trying to get new entertainers,
right?
And there's so many entertainers in Branson, so sometimes it takes a while.
Sometimes it takes a while, and there's a lot of good talent in town.
There is,
yeah.
There is, and you are well known in this town for your drumming ability. And we're going to talk about some of the shows that you're in, but take us back. Like, how did you get into the music business, and what has your career looked like?
So I started playing drums when I was 3 years old in Kentucky, and I had two older brothers that were drummers, and my mom, my dad, and my sister all played piano. So there was always music going on in the house. Grew up on Southern gospel music early in life. My dad filled in once in a while the revivals in our area with the Happy Goodmans and the Kingsmen Quartet. We grew up just an hour outside of Nashville in Kentucky. And so started playing in bar bands and gospel groups.
Now, how old were you
grade.
at that point?
When I started in the first bar band I was in the sixth grade. First gospel band I played in, I was probably 10. So
that is young.
Yeah, very young.
Yeah, and so when you're playing in a bar as a young kid like that, are your parents there, or what's going on?
So my dad passed when I was 11, and my mom wanted to support us into any music thing that we wanted to do because she thought that's what my dad would have done. So she would sit outside the back door and wait for me to get done playing music because she's like, I don't have any business in a Moose Lodge or an American Legion or a place like that. And so we knew some of the people I was playing music with. We were related to a couple of them by marriage kind of thing. But I have a quick funny story about my very first ever bar gig. I can tell this now because she has passed on. It was a teacher. So the rule was you can sit on the drum riser right here, or you can go to the bathroom. You can sit on the drum riser, you can go to the bathroom. And so I'm like 12 years old, sixth grade, and I'm playing drums, and I'm seeing all these people dancing, and they're drinking. It was the first time ever being around alcohol or anything like that, but I knew that I wasn't supposed to be there. That's what they emphasized. You could go to jail and all this. But I kept seeing this lady, and I'm like, that lady looks familiar. That lady looks familiar. On the third break, she comes walking to go to the bathroom, And when she gets about 10 feet from the stage, she saw me and I saw her, and I'm just like scared to death. And it was my teacher. And I'm like, hi, Miss Presley. And she's like, Brian Duvall, what the heck are you doing here? And I'm like, playing drums. What are you doing? And she was like slobbery drunk. And she's like, I came to watch you play. And so from that point on, I knew that I was going to have fun because she gave me $20 to keep secrets.
That's hilarious. Okay, so keep us going.
Oh, yeah. So graduated high school, and I was accepted into Berklee College of Music.
That's very well known.
That's very well known. It was hard to get into. I couldn't afford to go there. I didn't know anything about what going there would entail. I just knew that I wanted to go there because some of my favorite drummers had gone there. And so I flew to Boston, and they put us up in a hotel for 2 weeks, and they're like, you got 2 weeks to get an apartment and a job. And they didn't have freshman dorms. It was like, at that point, now they have freshman dorms. At that point, they were more of a private school and stuff. And I was just a fish out of water. I knew how to play drums, and I knew how to make money playing drums, but I didn't know how to get a job and how to get an apartment and get around a big city. I came from a small town in Kentucky. It was like 400 people. So that was my first time flying, all these things. So I was very scared and stuff. And so I called my mom from a payphone, and I'm like, I don't know that this is going to be the place for me. And I had auditioned previously for a company in Florida, and they did anti-drug and alcohol programs in schools. And she was like, well, we didn't have cell phones, obviously, back in the 80s. She was like, well, you got this letter from that company in Florida. So she reads a letter to me over the phone saying, hey, we have a position for you, and give us a call if you're still available and all this, because we didn't have emails back then. We didn't have cell phones. It was all letter mail.
Yeah.
And so I hung up, and from that same payphone, I called Florida, the guy in Clearwater, Florida, talked to him for about 20 minutes, and I flew back home and worked for, I don't know, maybe a month and a half until that they were ready for that tour to start, and went to Florida and started touring. And so from 1989 until 97, I lived basically hotels and tour buses. And I became a dad in 95 and left the band I was in 97. And that was my initial start in Branson, Missouri.
Yeah, but that's you just skipped some stuff. You skipped some stuff. We can't do that. I'm not going to let him do that. Let's put it that way. Because you were in a band.
I was in a band, yes.
That was called Johnny Q. Public.
Johnny Q. Public. Yeah.
And that was like...
That started right after that company that I went to Florida for. I toured all over. I did, between that company and Johnny Q. Public, I've played drums in every state except for Hawaii and Alaska. And I've been to England, Germany, Holland, Mexico, Canada, playing drums for a living. The company that I was in was called Young American Showcase. They had 12 bands that went to schools, and we did 3 schools a day, 5 days a week. We always called it rock and roll boot camp because you're setting up, tearing down. You got to know real quick if playing music and living in a bus was for you. And for me, fortunately, it was. On one of those tours, it brought me through Kansas City, and I met a gentleman there who back then, he didn't have cell phones. He had a black book. And so he put my name and number in his black book and said, I'm going to keep up with you. And so I'd given him my mom's number. And so about once every month, he would call my mom. Hey, this is Pete up in Kansas City. I was just checking to see if your son's still out on that tour. When he gets back, tell him I've got other bands looking for drummers. And so he referred me to a Christian ministry in Springfield, Missouri. At that time, it was called the Turn Ministries. And I auditioned for them. That was in 90. Moved to Springfield in 91 and toured with the Turn Ministries. And the keyboard player of the Turn Ministries was Dan Fritz, and he became the lead singer of Johnny Q. Public. The guitar player of Johnny Q. Public was the Turn Ministries' son, and then we had 2 other people that joined, and it was all formed right there under the Turn Ministries out of Springfield. And we started, it started as a joke. We made an opening band for Dave Turner's band, and so we were in both bands. But after a few places that we played, people started calling and asking him, can we have just that first band? Can we have Johnny Q. Public back? Can we have Johnny? And so then that snowballed into, we recorded a demo, and that demo got heard by Go-To Records, which was Toby Mac. It got Forefront Records. Eddie DeGarmo was wanting to sign us. We had lots of people were flying from Nashville and LA to hear us in Springfield and different church groups. And we were signed within 6 months.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It was like a overnight success kind of a thing.
Yeah. And so obviously you did that for a while.
Did that for a while. We recorded our first album in 94. It released in 95. And then that we sold 90,000. I think it was the final rounded off number, 90,000 units of that before we started production on the second album and stuff. But yeah, towards 97, I had a now 2-year-old daughter, and traveling wasn't really conducive for being a dad, especially on the wages that we were making at that time. And anytime we weren't touring, I was in Springfield. So I was working for a production company, Down Home Productions.
Oh, yeah.
And I was doing stuff at the Grand Palace in Branson. And I told my manager there, I said, I think I'm going to quit touring. I need to find a job maybe in Branson. And he said, I can get you on at Silver Dollar City as a drummer. And last year was 28 years with Silver Dollar City.
Yeah, long time.
Long time.
We're going to stop right there, and we'll be back in just a second.
All right.
Going to Branson for some relaxation and fun? You've got to stay with Branson's award-winning hotel family, Meyer Hotels. Meyer Hotels features 4 hotels in Branson with the best locations for your trip. Choose from brands you know and trust, like the Holiday Inn Express on Green Mountain Drive, the Best Western Centerpoint Inn, Comfort Inn at Thousand Hills, and the Comfort Inn and Suites. Enjoy refreshing indoor pools and hot tubs. Do you like free? How about a free hot breakfast each morning? Free vacation planning services, and of course, smiles are always free. Want even more value? Go to MeyerHospitality.com and join our e-club to save 15% off your next stay and check out incredible deals with our vacation packages. Call 1-877-FUN-STAY to book Branson's award-winning hotels or visit MeyerHospitality.com. It's your safe choice for award-winning lodging in Branson. MeyerHospitality.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to PlayBranson. I'm here with Brian Duvall, just an incredible drummer. And you can't forget this guy. And I think we talked about this 6 years ago. Like, your glasses are trademarked.
The trademarks, yeah.
I call it trademark. Like you like.
It started as a joke, and then it became something I couldn't get away from.
Yeah. So if someone has seen you, they're going to know that.
They know, yeah.
Yeah.
If I go somewhere and I don't want to be noticed, I'm blind without them, first of all. They're real glasses. But I've got a pair of black ones that sometimes I can put on a hat and black glasses, and I can walk by people that I've worked with for 20 years. They don't know who I am.
Right. Let's talk about the shows that you're in now. So you're in a new show.
Yep.
Talk about the new show over at the Sun Theater.
So I'm doing On Fire, the Jerry Lee Lewis experience. It's David Brooks playing piano and tearing it up as Jerry Lee Lewis. It's one of the best, fun rockabilly shows that you'll find anywhere. It's just like Jerry Lee Lewis. It's a wild child's show. You never know what David Brooks is going to do. You never know. We've got an order that we do everything in, but he does them different every day, and you just have to be ready to go. It's a lot of fun. It's a 5-piece band, so there's drums, bass, guitar, saxophone, and David on piano, and then there's a female vocalist, Phaedra Clemens.
And Phaedra's been on the show in the past.
Yeah, Phaedra was female vocalist of Branson last year. David's been piano player for, I think, 8 years running. So yeah, it's a wonderful show.
And so what days typically are those shows?
Those days are Thursday nights at 7 and Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And it's at the Sun Records showroom is what they're calling it, over in the Branson Meadows Mall.
Yeah. And so some people maybe not be familiar with that theater, but it's like if you're going into the Branson Meadows Mall area, it's kind of to the right, past the movie theater. And then it's it used to be called the Tower Theater. Sometimes if you Google Tower Theater, it'll still show that up. Yeah. And it was Bloom Church at one point. But yeah, it's right there on the right when you're coming in. Turn left off of Gretna or turn right off Gretna, depending on which direction you're going. It's going to be on your right-hand side. You won't want to miss it. They've got signs up now that say Sun, so you'll be able to find it. Yeah. Now, you're also in another show.
I'm in another new show. That one kind of started over the off-season. We've been touring all over the world with that. It's MJ the Illusion. It's a Michael Jackson tribute show, and it's a wonderful, amazingly fun show as well. So, and that's at the Reza Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw the other day where you were on tour and you were riding in the back of a wrecker because the car broke down or something like that.
We had a rental van. We had a show down in Foley, Alabama, and the rental van broke down about 15 minutes from the hotel. So we shuttled people to the hotel with the rental car that we had. And when the wrecker got there, he didn't have room for everybody. So he's like, just stay in there and don't make any noise. And he pulled us up onto the wrecker, and it was like a roller coaster. So yeah, it was fun.
So you performed, and you'd mentioned Silver Dollar City for a zillion years,
Right.
but you, as part of that company, there for a while, you were out at the Showboat as well.
I did,
and so
22
you played
years, yeah.
Yeah, so you've kind of done different things for that organization.
I've been all over Branson. I've been all over Silver Dollar City properties. I started in the Opera House, and then I did the Saloon. I did Echo Hollow off and on. And I did a couple other venues there before going to going to the Showboat. And then I did 22 years on the Showboat. And then after the pandemic, my time there started dwindling shorter and shorter. And so I just go back as a contract employee now. So
yeah. Okay, let's talk about, I want to just insert in here. You had an accident.
I did
several years ago. And so can you tell people about that and just share a little bit of that story?
And to get the full story, you can go also to YouTube and type in Brian Duvall story. It's a 12-minute story of the day that this happened. I was loading a zero-turn Skag mower into the back of a truck. It flipped backwards, and I broke my L1 vertebrae. It crushed inside. As an effect of that, my bowel and bladder doesn't function. I can't feel my legs and my feet. I have like 20% feeling from mid-rib down, yet I'm able to walk and play drums and live life. Can't run, I can't jump, but I can ride a bike. That particular day, I was listening to some Toby Mac, and
hold on, Toby Mac. We both like him. He's a great artist, so check him out. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I had a pre-release of a Toby Mac CD, and there was a song on there that was resonating with my spirit, and I couldn't understand what was going on. And then that song became my prayer of the day. This accident happened, and I prayed that God wouldn't leave me there by myself. And there was an angel that sat beside me for 45 minutes. And I have to say the power of prayer and believing in Jesus and knowing that He's got your back is 100% true in my life. If you watch that video, it'll tell you I spent 6 months learning how to walk again, how to do things again. Still today, bowel and bladder functions doesn't work, and limited feeling, but I'm a walking testimony that the power of Jesus and the love of God is prevalent in everyday life. Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you folks, go check that video out because it's an amazing story and testimony and what God has done in your life and continues to do.
Yeah.
Continues to do.
I'm under the influence right now that, or the belief I should say, that whenever I tell the right person about this accident and the power of Jesus, then my total healing will come at that point. God will whisper in my ear, that's who needed to hear it. Now you're done. And I would have been the good and faithful servant and let everybody know what that power can do for you.
Yeah, because at some point you probably didn't even know whether you could drum again.
Yeah, they were telling my wife in the other room, there's 90% chance he'll never walk again. If we don't do this surgery, he's never going to do anything again. If we do this surgery, there's still a 90% chance that all these things aren't going to happen for him. And out of the 3 doctors that I had working on me, one of them was a believer. And so he was like, don't give up. Here's what you need to do. Pat your feet while you're laying in bed. And he would have me sit up on the side of the bed and just air drum and pat my feet and do stuff. He's like, we're going to get you back behind a drum set because that's you. That's what you need to be doing. And that's what you do for your family. That's what everybody knows you as. And so he was very instrumental in not giving up. He's like, anybody can get disability. Not everybody can keep going. So
yeah. So folks, Branson is blessed to have Brian in the entertainment community. He's been around as a drummer for literally over decades now, and continuing to shine your light in the Branson community, man. And so it's so good to have you back on the show today.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
And we're glad to have you here, folks. We'll just be back in just a second to wrap the show up.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We've been talking to Brian Duvall with On Fire, the Jerry Lee Lewis Experience, and also MJ the Illusion. I'm showing that there actually are no more shows for On Fire this year, but MJ the Illusion, you can catch them still some dates, Wednesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m., Thursdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. The last show of the season, January 1st, but they kind of take some time off around Christmas, so you'll want to be sure to check the schedules out for those exact days. Now, if you need help planning your Branson vacation, be sure to go to iBranson.com or call those folks at 1-877-ENTERTAIN. They can help put your entire vacation together, and they are local here in Branson. Now, you can always find our Play Branson episodes on social media, on Facebook, on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlayBranson. You can also find our episodes on thevacationchannel.com. This week, thank an entertainer, show your support, and go see some live entertainment. That's it for today, and we'll see you here next week on Play Branson.